So in this video, we're going to recommend a new commissioner, even though she's not fired yet. And I think you'll find it pretty interesting and unique. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. And join us for our live show, which is now started out by Caitlin Clark's Crossover. And that is every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 on Mondays, 5:30, 6:30 on Thursdays, Eastern time, except for major holidays. And it's a Caitlin Clark forum with guest podcasters like the sports reporters. And speaking of our live show, Rob, this in our Caitlin Clark's Crossover, this excerpt I'm going to play for you right now is from that, and this Monday. And I asked the question about the commissioner, who, I don't know, basically everybody thinks she's a lousy commissioner, what they thought of her as commissioner. And this just happened to come out, and it got me thinking about what we could do to replace her and who we replace her with and who would be the best type of commissioner for her. And I have an opinion on this, and you do too, and we'll just play this. So my next topic is the commissioner, who I think is the worst commissioner in American sports. And so my question is, do you agree with that? And if so, what do you think she's doing poorly? And maybe is she doing anything right? And what do you think she needs to do to turn this league around and make it a more likable, better league? So it's kind of a broad question. So anybody can go.
You can go first if you want.
It's tough, man. The things she's got to deal with, okay? The things she's got to deal with. When you're talking about dealing with all these women that are so entitled and will call you racist and will, like, here's the thing, she's white, right? So she's white, and at any moment she could be branded a racist. And she's a woman, so it's different than a white guy commissioner being branded a racist. She's emotionally invested in this in a different way as a woman, so that really might hurt her more, to her core, being branded a racist.
You think that's why she's scared of the players?
It's over her head at every moment. You can tell she's terrified of the black players. Like that. That's just like, it's very obvious to me that she knows that if a black player in the league has just as much power as her.
Rob, that pretty much, he goes on, but I think that pretty much sums up the point I wanted to get across. And do you agree with what he said? First of all, you're also a black male, but what do you think?
No, I agree. I totally agree with what he's saying.
Okay.
Yeah. I totally agree with what he's saying. Is that she's afraid because of she's a white woman, and being a woman and then being white, and then if she says anything that's even not considered out of the sort, then she will be branded as a racist. Saying if she says anything for like a white player like Caitlin Clark, she would be bombarded by like, oh, you just like her because she's white and you're sticking up. But I'm going like, well, you black women are sticking up for black women because you're black.
So you think that's the main reason that her and the marketing executive Phil Cook said halfway through the season, oh, we didn't see it coming, even though my 10-year-old dog could see it coming, that Caitlin Clark was going to be real popular?
No, I think that's just her poor. I mean,
wait. No, you said no.
Well, let me finish. Okay. No, but I think this. Yes, I agree with that, but also I agree with that. She's just a poor marketing. It's just poor marketing decision. I don't know if they were afraid of. I don't think they were, afraid of what the consequences would to be branded as a racist. I just think they were just afraid of just people branding them as like she doesn't know what she's doing type thing. I don't know. Well, how can they promote just one person when the league there's other players in the league that are better than Caitlin Clark?
Well, I think she's afraid of the players for sure. And I think that is the reason she didn't market Caitlin Clark, is because she's afraid of the players. And she doesn't want to hear anything about showing favoritism towards Caitlin Clark, when in fact she's doing what needs to be done for the league to be successful, which is why they promoted Michael Jordan and nobody gave a crap. I mean, some players did. There was very little pushback publicly wise in terms of when Michael Jordan, they were pushing him. Yeah, some of the players I'm sure resented a little bit because he was a rookie when they started pushing him. But they didn't go crazy with it until he started really winning, playoff games and championships. Mm-hmm. And I think, Rob, if you look at all the best commissioners in our lifetime, the two of them were Paul Tagliabue and also David.
Yeah, I like that Bowie Kuhn. He was a great commissioner for baseball also.
Okay. And notice that all three of them had law degrees. And Gary Bettman's a pretty good commissioner too in NHL hockey. He's finally taken out, some of the fighting and the clutching and grabbing and holding, and it cleaned up the league a little bit, and the league's doing well. And he has a law degree too, Rob. So I'm just pointing that out because this Roger Goodell, I think, is an awful commissioner. He just has the best product. That's why the league's successful. And he doesn't have a law degree. And I spoke to a lawyer who worked for the NFL legal department. And I brought up the theory of mine that, he's at a disadvantage and he's not as good a commissioner as other commissioners because he didn't have a law degree. He agreed with me and said, yes, he doesn't always understand the legal aspects and the legal ramifications of decisions that he makes. He's right sometimes. So right now we have Kathy Engelbert, who does not have a law degree. She doesn't have a marketing background, even though in an interview she seemed to indicate she did. When I looked up her background, she didn't have a marketing background. It's business. But she hasn't shown she's a good business person. She doesn't have a law degree. She doesn't have a marketing background. She doesn't know how to market the league. She certainly doesn't know how to market Caitlin Clark, who would be the key to their whole success in the next 5 or 10 years to make money. So in short, everything I've seen her do, including not taking out the physicality of the league, which are really fouls that aren't called fouls, that slow down the game and make it unappealing for the fans. She's had 5 years to do that. I think this is her 6th year as a commissioner coming up. And so to me, she's a lousy commissioner, and they need to replace her.
So, Mark, I feel that. So here's my what I think people are going to say to that when you mention that the better commissioners have a law degree. So what you're saying is that, which I agree with, and I'm a business person. That was my degree, but in order to succeed in business, you have to have that, at least someone behind you that has some type of law degree, because you don't know all the little ins and outs.
In a big business, yeah. In a big business.
Right. In a big business, right. Yeah. You should have that. I agree with you that way. Some people might push back and say, oh, you're just saying that because you're a lawyer. But no, you need to have that. There's some stuff that's legal that you don't know. I mean, I don't know. you might do something you like you said, like trademarks or copyrights.
Contracts, Rob.
Do this.
The league has all sorts of contracts. You have to understand how contracts work.
Right.
And it's good to have a law background to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they're always negotiating contracts, and they have them. Right. They have to know how to enforce them and not to enforce them. They know what can be in there and what shouldn't be in there, what they can get away with in terms of rulings that they make. So, in my opinion, it's better. It doesn't have to be, but I think you're better off to start with. And if you have a business background, great. If you have a marketing background, even better. But if you hire the right marketing person, maybe you don't have to be great at marketing yourself. But I don't think they hired the right marketing person. You got Phil Cook through the season said, I couldn't see it coming. Train was rolling right over his face, and he didn't see it coming. So, I don't have any confidence as him as a marketing guy.
Where'd she come from? Wow.
So the first thing I would do as commissioner is I would replace Phil Cook. I would replace Phil Cook. The second thing I would do is I would get rid of all the head of the refs and get a new ref department to oversee the refs and take out the physicality of the league to make it more exciting for the exciting players that are coming up in college right now, and Caitlin Clark, who are going to want to play fast pace and not prison ball. That's what I would do. But in terms of the commissioner, Rob, let's go back to why are we making this video in the first place. So I remember Jason Whitlock. He's not my favorite, but once in a while he comes up with a good idea. And he said maybe a black male would be a good coach for the Fever, because then they can't claim racism if he shows favoritism towards Caitlin Clark and lets her run her offense and things of that nature. and gives them a more authoritative figure than a female. I'm not sure the male thing's as important as the black, but they ended up hiring a white female. It didn't matter. I think she's a good choice. But I thought about that, and I thought about what our friend Act Nation said on our Kate and Clark crossover about the commissioner being scared of the black women in the league and being scared of being accused of being a racist. And I thought about that as like, yes, she's obviously scared of them. I could tell that. And I didn't want to say that as a white guy. That's why she's scared of him. But you and him, they're both saying the same thing. So I'm going to assume it's true. And if that's the case, well, what if you had a black male? Because men seem to be better at running big businesses with a law degree.
Mark.
A black male with a law degree. Because men run big businesses better than women. And then if he had a marketing background, all the better. But like, again, if you hire the right marketing guy, it won't matter. David Stern was very good at marketing, even though he's a law degree. And that's why the NBA took off. And maybe it was I don't know if the marketing decisions were his. Maybe he had a great marketing guy that gave him decisions and he made it work. I don't know.
Mark, a black commissioner, black male commissioner.
Black male commissioner with a law degree, maybe even a marketing background, a minor marketing background. Or business.
If not, have some business or have some people around him who could advise him about business. Also, Mark, it seems to be most of the black males that do watch women's basketball, they just seem to don't put a color thing about it. They just enjoy watching a good player. So that
they know basketball, Rob. We've gone over this.
Yeah, so that also goes into it. And like you said, he wouldn't care.
It'd be nice if he was a basketball fan too, obviously. And he didn't have a basketball background, but it'd be nice if he was a basketball fan or maybe even play basketball.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think he would care about the outside noise from the black women. I mean, I'm sure he would get, of course, he would get the racial things like, oh, you're just going over to the white man. Why don't you stick behind the black people? And then, but see, what I would say is like, I'm with black people, but I'm in the business to make money. And if I see someone who's marketing, and I don't care what color they are, if they're going to make me money, I don't care what color they are. They're good for the business. If you can't look past that, then that's on you. But I'm here to make money for you. As far as I would say to the owners, I would sit down and say, because the owners seemed that they were a little scared. I go, I'm here to make money for you. We put this guy as commissioner. As a black male commissioner, I don't care about what they say, the players say. I'm here to make money.
Keep in mind, Rob, think about it. David Stern is white. He was promoting a black athlete. Who's going to give a hard time about that? He's not like promoting a white athlete. So right. This is the same situation, just reverse. No one gave him a hard time for promoting Michael Jordan. They could see how excited he was. They didn't care he was black. So we got the same situation here. Everybody knows Kate Clark is the most exciting player. She's going to be the best player too. But right now, she's only the most exciting in my opinion. But she's the most exciting by a large margin and the most popular by a large margin.
And the most marketable one. And the most marketable. That's the bottom line, Mark. Like I said, to make money. Yeah, she's popular. Yeah, she's very marketable. So why wouldn't I promote her? Wouldn't matter what color she is. So.
Now, obviously, it doesn't have to be a black male with a law degree with a business background and who played basketball and marketing. It doesn't have to be. But I think having a black commissioner who aren't scared of the black players, aren't scared of being accused of racist, gives you an advantage there. They're going to do the right thing and not worry about whether they're stepping on people's feet, because the commissioner doesn't work for the players. The commissioner works for the owners. Right. That's who they answer to. Okay. The owners want to make money, and they haven't made money in 28 years. And this commissioner's not helping any. And I don't know why she doesn't lose her job.
At least put her out there. They didn't even put her out there at all. There was nothing, which was stupid.
Rob, according to ChatGPT, a search I just did on Google, Kathy Engelbert's contract as commissioner, which covers the current collective bargaining agreement, expires after the 2025 season, giving the league and the union a year to negotiate the next agreement. So that means she has to be hired again, Rob. They have to renew her contract.
Right.
So we'll see if that takes place, Rob. The only reason they're going to keep her is the league grew in the last year, but it's not because of her. She actually held the league back. She had
Right.
a golden child and didn't take advantage of it.
People were like going, I don't want to talk to you. People were like, I don't want to. They were dropping them because of the way of the brand of basketball she was promoting. People were saying, I'm not going to renew my contract, or I'm not going to watch the WNBA anymore, or the W, as they say anymore.
Right. Yeah, I don't use that phrase. I think I used it once
so
and
annoying.
I thought myself.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
I don't know. That's my idea. First of all, she has to be fired, or her contract has to be not renewed, because they don't have to fire her. They just don't have to give her a new contract. And so, but before that can happen, but I think they need a better commissioner, a stronger commissioner to take advantage of this opportunity right now. And they have a lot of opportunities because they got a new TV deal coming in. And they also have like expansion coming in. And I don't know. I don't think she's smart enough to handle it.
So, Mark, is this up to the owners, or is it up to the NBA? Who would determine her?
The owners.
They don't want.
The owners.
The owners. They would have to get together
and
say,
they have to renew her contract.
Okay.
I don't think the players have any say in the commissioner. So, according to ChatGPT, the Google search, it says the NBA doesn't have sole control of over who becomes commissioner, because the NBA, which owns a significant portion of the league, also has a say in the process. So, anyways, she was hired as the first commissioner. Is this the first commissioner in 2019, according to this? But the WNBA is not a fully independent entity. So they have some say in it, but I'm not sure. It says while the WNBA commissioner has significant authority, the WNBA board plays a role in the decision-making process, and the commissioner reports to them.
Okay.
So that's what you're dealing with. In the other leagues, it's simpler. Just report to the owners when their contract runs out, or they don't. So the owners like Roger Goodell because the league is very successful, but that's because he has a can't miss product, not because he's a good commissioner.
Yeah. And
he's been relatively quiet the last 5 or 6 years. Actually, he's made almost no rulings after he.
But Mark, he's smart. The fans don't like him, so every time they do the draft, like that's coming up, I mean, he plays the villain perfect. Everybody's booing him. He's just like, yeah, boo me. He doesn't even care.
When you make $45 million a year, Rob, you don't care.
You can boo the hell out of me. I'm like, oh yeah, boo me. I'm still making money. I don't care.
I got a job.
Yeah. So nice jersey. Yeah, I like your jersey.
So I guess it's a little bit more complicated. I guess the 13 owners can't just not hire her. The NBA has some say in it. I don't know what Adam Silver thinks of Kathy Engelbert, but Adam Silver is not considered a great commissioner. He does have a law degree, but the reason is because he's too soft with the players, everybody says, and that's what she is. She's too soft. He seems to be afraid of the players, and she seems to be afraid of the players. So unfortunately, that doesn't, I don't know what kind of say he has. It says the NBA board has some say in it. So I don't know what's going to happen. I just know if it was up to me, if I was the god of the WNBA, she'd be gone in a heartbeat. All I need to see is that 1 year. Now, obviously she's going to get a chance this year because you're not going to fire her in the middle of the year. But if she doesn't do the things that need to be done, which is market Caitlin Clark, and also, improve the refs and have the refs call the game less physical, which I think are the two most obvious corrections they need to do.
Right.
I'd have her out the door in a second, Rob.
Right. Oh yeah. Especially like I said, the bottom line is making money. So if you're still not marketing her, and then people aren't watching the game because it's too physical, and you don't want to change, then you got to go.
How many people agree with Rob that she's got to go? Hey, they haven't made any money since she's been commissioner. No. I know they weren't making it before, but she hasn't improved it, and this is their 6th year. So what can I say? Anyways,
because Mark, they asked you that question when you're interviewed for a job. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So, and in 5 years, you should say, "Well, I see the league growing, and me. Well, I don't see any benefit that you contribute to my.
You didn't finish your sentence, Rob. I see the league growing and making a profit within 5 to 6 years. That's what she probably would have said in the interview. I would have said that. That would have been my goal.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have done that last year if you just promoted Caitlin Clark more. You might have made some money. You only lost $50 million. That means you probably, if you're promoting her, probably could have
Wait,
made.
you only lost $50 million.
Yeah. we know that $10 million a year thing is wrong. But they've lost more than that, because if they lost $50 million last year after Caitlin Clark brought in all that additional revenue and their expenses only went up $25 million, it doesn't add up. Because they should have only lost $35 million, but they made over $100 million. Where's the other 65 plus million? I don't know.
Where's the money? Where's the money?
Rob's looking around his room.
Where's the money?
I mean, how many people down below think Rob has that 65 million?
If I was Mark, if I had that 65 million, to quote the great Ric Flair, I'd be limousine riding, jet flying, wheeling, dealing. Woo!
All right. Well, let's see. How many of you want to hire Rob to be the WNBA commissioner? Doesn't have a law degree, but he's a black male with a basketball background, and he's smarter at business than she is and smarter at marketing than she is. I could be his assistant with the law degree.
Yeah, see? Finally, the black man over the white man. Come on.
There you
Come
go.
on, me.
We got it. We got it. I wouldn't care.
I'd be over Mark. See, you guys would say, yeah, oh, yeah, Rob would be over Mark. Oh, hey.
I'd be happy, Rob, just to be involved if I could contribute to the success of the WNBA, whether it's commissioner or not.
I would too. In the marketing thing, I was like, I would like, okay, let's do this.
I don't need a marketing background to know how to market Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. Pretty easy.
All right. There's all sorts of guidelines that are out there how to market an athlete like that. And we saw it already in Michael Jordan. So anyways, let us know what you think down below. How many think Rob should be the commissioner with me as assistant? All right, let us know what you think down below. You think they should replace the commissioner, and who you think they should replace her with? And do you think our theories are reasonable, at least? And if you like this video, hit the like button, share it with your family, friends, and acquaintances. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, what are you waiting for?
Come on, do it up. Do it up.
We just hit 6,000 subscribers. We're going for 7,000. And our 1-year anniversary is coming up in a couple weeks, Rob. Anyway, and join us for Caitlin Clark's crossover that you just saw an excerpt from it. That was Adrian Ross and AK Nation. AK Nation. It's actually AK Nation. I tease him about AK Nation. That's what I thought his name was at first. And they have they're on Mondays nights usually. We have a Thursday show, and it's 6 to 7 and 5:30 to 6:30 Eastern time, except for major holidays. And then our live show continues. And if you want, you can donate to the channel with super chats, super thanks down below, and a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.